All right, yeah. Honestly, I think that's what it is. I think I know how much of a time sink it takes from me, and I do feel that if I get back into it, it's just going to eat it all up again. That's, if I'm honest,
That's
it's
what
probably.
games are, man.
I don't have time for that stuff anymore. Okay, all right,
You don't
all
play
right.
any games.
Well, I do play games, but
I'm just saying.
I don't think I have time for it. I think like if I could get it, I don't know. Like I tried leaving it up, like while I was like working one day. It didn't work good enough. But anyways, hey everybody, welcome to a new exciting episode of Low Key on the We Libertarians Network. I'm your host Harry, aka the Moving Target, and we're here to talk about some of the going ons here on the internet, not about all the gaming different stuff. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and introduce the cast and crew. You guys ever heard his voice here on the in the beginning of things? We're talking about Guild Wars 2 and other gaming, but that is Reinhold. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Say hi.
Hi, how is everybody doing? We're gonna be talking about some stuff that, since it's a slow news week and there's really nothing going on at all
Nothing.
in the world of politics and news and international stuff. We're gonna talk about Reddit and stuff like that today.
Yes. There's nothing else going on in the world besides this. Talking, okay? Nothing. Nothing else. Okay? All right? All right? Okay, right home? You got it
Yeah,
this
yeah. I
time?
mean, if
Nope.
anything were to happen, like come up that we would want to talk about, we can talk about it on the big show. I'm
Exactly.
sure we can do a show about that in a couple months or whatever.
I probably am going to do his show and put my name in front of it, just cross it out. And I'll just let you get that out. But the other person we've got over here held hostage, being quiet, and thank you for respecting etiquette. We got Vincent. Vincent, go ahead, and say hi.
Finally, my ass. I usually respect.
Yeah,
Usually respected.
finally,
Thank you very
finally,
much, sir. How
finally
dare
respect.
you?
He's all uppity because he got he's back from his Afro blow out over the weekend.
No, Reinhold. It's solely because I don't want to talk politics. I just assume that we're talking about this because it's like the moment's like, all right, we need to talk politics. Like, all right, cool. Hey, Paul, I'm gonna need you on this Monday show, so I can go take a nap.
I'll tag you out. Don't worry. I'm not gonna like sucker you in. All right. Besides, it's there's so much of that other stuff going on. I don't even like get due to it. And a lot of the different things, like I gotta put like it's about the closest number we're gonna get to it is I'm just talking to reality. It's like right wing news is like it's trash. It's trash. I cannot listen to like most right wing commentators right anymore. They have gone so I want to use the word extremist crazy.
No, it's extreme. Extremes get you views. That's the thing. Is that what irritates me about the whole thing? Is
But
that the
this goes
crazier
from
you
getting
are, the far fetched you are,
mm-hmm,
you get the views. Where somebody like what Chris and you and I were doing is we were coming and trying to be calm and rational and see both sides
mm-hmm,
and talk about the facts and not talk
mm-hmm.
about the craziness of it. And nobody wants to hear that apparently. So
No,
No, no.
the
it's
only thing
boring.
near the actual news that I saw was a joke where somebody was talking about was the fires and stuff from Canada. Hi, Ron.
Oof.
And
Oof.
how this is the worst the climate had been in New York in 20 years. And someone's like, I wonder what happened 20 years ago. And they go dot. Oh, I forgot.
There was this thing.
What happened?
I was like, all right, that's good. That's a solid one.
What happened 20 years ago?
Well, it's like the guy who posted the other day. He's like, they were complaining that the Libertarian Party didn't have a booth at Pork Fest for 2000 in 2020 and 2021, and we need to get back in there. And I'm like, I wonder what was going on those years that we might not have wanted to put volunteers at a booth with a lot of people. It's just escaping my mind. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's fine. You know what? I don't even know either. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. Anything that was going on. around that time.
It's like I can't think about it. My life was the exact same. I just went to work every day. It was weird that the gas was like $1 though, but I didn't really know why that was. But I still went to work every day. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I was at work every day. I worked from home, so nothing ever actually changed for me. So I hadn't left the house in 10 years before that, so I don't know what the big deal was.
If I'm honest, I do have some lockdown jealousy because I wish I could sit at home for 2 weeks and do nothing.
Oh yeah, I was like, can I get COVID, please? I never got COVID, so I could never go. I got COVID. I got to stay off work for a couple of weeks. I mean, I had coworkers I had to cover for because they got COVID, and I'm like, I got extra work to do now. Never got it myself.
I got like exposed, and so it took me to sit at home. So I'm
Mhm.
sitting at home. I get home for like a day, and they're like, "You have any symptoms?" Like, well, no, I could be asymptomatic. Well, get tested. I'm not shoving that thing up my nose. Go get bet. It was like, well, just come into work tomorrow. But I was just, get your butt into work.
See,
All right, going to work.
See, like, I was similar the same way. I was like, I ate something bad and like messed with my stomach, and then I did the phone doc.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is the thing. He's like, oh, you probably have COVID. I'm like, okay. And it's like, hey, this phone doc says I have COVID. Let me go home. I'm gonna stay home for 2 weeks with pay later.
Late. Yeah, I know, right? It's
Hello, Jake.
Hey, Jake. But yeah, it's yeah. So like a smidge little jealousy of the idea of like I get to sit at home and just organize everything. I'm like, damn. Because like like I don't know. So I'm romanticizing the past because it was very scary.
Because you didn't.
I will say that.
Let's be honest. I actually lost family members and everything because of it. So it's not like it's that funny of a situation. But we can't laugh at some things, There's situations we can laugh at. So
yeah. And even the beginning of it, like I remember being like completely freaked out about the virus. Like, what was like things, conspiracy theories I found online. And I couldn't get one person to take me serious. And it blew up in a huge fight with my wife because like everything was going on, and she like went out drinking, and she woke up and she I didn't even know she went out drinking, and she was just like, oh, I feel like crap, and I was just like freaking out, and I put her in a plastic bubble. She went into the bathroom and she realized she was vacuumed too, basically in the side of the house. It's like, stop playing. It's just like, step out that plastic. Where are you staying there? Like, figure out what's going on. But yeah, like I said, everyone flipped out into some crazy.
Yeah, that was the fun one when you had to explain to our friend using math how he was wrong. That was fun.
Oh yeah. So I was trying to. We had a friend that was trying to explain to like how like this, like, because if they say it it was as contagious as it is, this is the exponential graph of it, how it's going to spread. There's no way. There's nothing stopping this thing, right? It's like this is math I've got from former ex-military and really smart StarCraft 2 Korean. They both come to the same conclusion. And then being told like, but who said it's not contagious like that? Okay. Do you trust the WHO? No. Not with this. Not with that. Not right now.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about not politics and not serious stuff.
Oh yeah. Just like I said, we're dancing around.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the different information we get these things from is places on the internet. So like internet forums and stuff like that. And one of my favorite places to get information, I think, which has been a staple of the internet to get information, good information, is Reddit. It is an amazing, beautiful website. So I don't know if any of you actually get on Reddit. By you, I'm talking about the audience. I know that Vincent probably sits on it's r/wholesome, and Reinhold probably mods for several different like probably like Windows is superior to Linux, r/Windows superior to Linux. don't even know if that's a real subreddit. It's probably
Probably is. Reinhold
Probably.
Reinhold's a part of r/sink pissers.
yeah. Probably, oh, God. God dang. Yeah. Anyway, so
Real subreddit, by the way.
yeah, real subreddit.
Sure with
So
that.
yeah, so these subreddits are what Reddit is. It's to think about it. It's a social media site of like different forums, and everyone has these things like r/slashes, which basically just controls like where these indexes of different interests. So and mostly every obscure interest that you may have, be it mundane of like I'm just into like cottagecore or like cottagecore fashion. I want to see PC gaming, Linux gaming, sink pissing, even in some of your not safe for work stuff, like some of my very favorite things, like, and also you can also find in that there on Reddit.
Or uwu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like look at wholesome femboy memes. They're also those are great. Those are great. I recommend those. Jake Squats for Keg recommends there you go, Vincent.
Yeah, apparently I'm not gonna touch that. Even though it's already blacked out right now, I'm not gonna touch that. I feel like that's probably gonna get FBI called and shit. You never know. I don't trust.
Gotta be please be careful with searching because if you're used to the safeguards that Facebook and Instagram and all these other and Twitter not Twitter has for you, Reddit, those safeguards aren't really there. Most people have to post different things, and they have a lot of politics also happens there. I think one of the larger Reddit subreddit communities, which a lot of the small communities they are called like subreddits, was the Donald, which they was the huge Donald Trump supporters. They get to the front page of Reddit all the time, which front page usually people vote topics up. And that's one of the better things about Reddit to find good for information is that the community votes things. So if it's good, they vote up. If it's bad, you can vote it down. So if you bring good info, you get voted up. And if you bring bad info, you can vote down.
Well, one of the best ones was explain
Not
like
necessarily.
I'm 5. Not all of them, but yeah.
No, I say not necessarily good information, just popular information.
Popular information, yeah.
Just saying.
But usually, if you'll find sources.
Reddit is not a place that is heavy on sourcing.
That's true.
Reddit's not his. But there's also.
But if you're wrong on Reddit, right. Oh man, you will get.
You will know. You will know. I think that's one of the best. That's how you get a true answer on Reddit. You purposely answer something wrong, and then 7 people will show up and go, "I'll have you know, with my PhD in statistics, this is why you're wrong."
You've seen that meme where it says, what was it? Some law, Murphy's Law states that if you want to get an answer for something, you say the wrong thing on the internet and you'll get the right answer. And then somebody's like, "That's not Murphy's Law. That's this other person's." He's like,
it fought me so hard to not go right home. That's not Murphy's
Law is.
So like, just let it go. Let's joke go. Let's joke go. Don't fall for it. That's me.
And then, but see, here's the thing about Reddit is that it's really just a modern version. And you may laugh at me saying Reddit is modern. It's just a modern version of the old Usenet.
Yeah.
It is the most yes. It is a modern Usenet. Yes, honestly that's a good definition. Like if you wanted to know when Ryan keeps talking about the beauty of a Usenet, if you want a good working representation will drive you nuts, it is Reddit. Honestly, I'll let you have it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's Reddit works because it's just smaller forums that are easily accessible throughout. They have easy ways of aggregating the multiple different interests you have.
Correct.
If you make a profile, you go, "Oh, cool! I'm interested in gaming, but also interested in politics, but also interested in the state I live in." Because there's a subreddit for like every state and like every college. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and different areas will have counties like that. Depending on where you are, you can get on different subreddits and have amazing discussions about different topics. And which is also great is because like it's easy to share around, easy to move around, and it's not like Facebook, which is this is just the people I know, watching me go do things. This is just like, no, I'm just interacting with people in the little small communities that I want to interact with. So it makes it easier. And also you should just create an account. So if I have, let's say, I don't do this. Reinhold probably does it. He's got throwaway accounts, and he goes there and he posts different things on it. Reinhold does it. I don't do that. I don't do that. And you go there for your spice your content, or just to get in there, just to mess with people, to troll different people, or find out different information.
Just show different people.
Oh man, that's
honestly, you end up getting a lot of the throwaway accounts, because they're so disposable. You can just make an email, make an account. It's when people want to divulge personal information but don't want to immediately connect it back to them. Not in a super easy manner, because you could basically anything you post on the internet can be linked back to you in one way or another, but it's easier for them to go, well, this is a throwaway account and it's disposable, so I'm okay with divulging the vague name of my husband who's being a dick for no reason.
Nothing like creating a fake email account, then making an AWS free tier, then making a new email account out of there on a Windows server, then connecting to Reddit. Okay.
Yeah, remember they track IPs on that stuff. So
exactly. So go in there. So free AWS account, create it there, and you get on r/am I the asshole, and you type, and you get to confess your sins to the internet.
He's like, am I the asshole?
No, I don't do that. That's not what
here's my thing is that am I the asshole? I think that's wandered into the Playboy letters section of the internet, where it's like, yeah, how true of all the things that never happened, had never happened the most, or something like that,
Oh yeah.
Oh no, there's a whole subreddit. It's called the r/that happened.
Oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened.
That's the best ones. But yeah, when a lot of it,
there's a Facebook group. There's a Facebook group called "That Didn't Happen So Much It Unhappened Things That Already Had."
Yeah, there's also a lot of it where you're buying in. You have to kind of assume that somebody's being truthful, or what the premise is. Like the r/no sleep subreddit, which is an all horror subreddit, and the whole premise is when you go into it, you have to suspend your disbelief to pretend that all these horror stories are real.
Yeah.
And
right,
that's
was it Reddit that started the the sun disappeared thing a couple years ago, or was that strictly YouTube?
It was Twitter.
Was it Twitter that did? Oh yeah, it was Twitter that did that.
Twitter.
Okay, yeah.
The guy was live tweeting the sun.
That's right.
Reddit. It was a really interesting story, but yeah,
they use Reddit to connect dots to figure out the story, to connect the story. That's usually what people use for Usually Reddit is used to. Reddit's also a good thing with Reddit too. With allows people to who are working remotely on the topic to kind of like communicate, like, hey, I found this, you found this, don't do this, stuff like that. It was very, very helpful in the days of the Gamergate to like teach people how to archive information so they don't feed people of feed ads, don't feed clicks. So you can get information from websites and also track different things. So if you've noticed like 5 different news organizations come up with the same article at the same exact time, we can archive and boom, they're doing the exact same thing again. So helps compile information. The reason why Reddit is very near to my heart is because I always I think one of the earlier homeworks I gave the Low Key crew is watching the internet documentary, The Internet Owned Boy, about Aaron Swartz, co-founder of Reddit. So Reddit is very special to me because it's one of those things that I think it's old school internet, and it has ballooned into what it is today, and that's what we want to talk about. Is because today Reddit went dark, crashed itself, nearly died. And I was watching it happen. It was started in the morning. I got up early in the morning and I got on a couple of subreddits. And I noticed the spicy ones went first. We'll say that. The spicy ones went first. It's if you didn't clip,
I gotta send a message.
Get what you needed before they got that one first, and then the other ones started. Now I don't know if because they hit a script or did a thing, but they started going dark. And what that means is they went private. They basically was like, nope, we're not letting anyone view this. We're shutting this off to the internet.
So the reason it started crashing was because when they were privating all these subreddits, it was basically ruining the back end of Reddit because all these things, like there's a bunch of like the most popular ones like pictures and funny and gaming all went private. The ones that are normally pushed all the time. So they have to go through their backlog of not pushing all these things because they can't push them.
Correct.
And then with I think it's like 7,000 different subreddits going private, all roughly about the same time. The system had to compensate of taking all the posts and making all the posts private.
Correct.
And the server couldn't deal with that.
Closing all the different posts, because then you got things that usually go up there, so they're probably on something that's like quicker storage, and then they're pulling things from slow storage. It was messing up things at the back end. But why did this happen? Why today did everything go dark? Oh, do you want to go?
I can.
Yeah,
I could talk about it.
Go ahead.
So
he was going to. You want to go?
Yeah. See, I'd known about this, but I also watched the Muda's video to further get more of the general details that I didn't really know about.
Mudahar,
some ordinary gamer.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is that it turns out that Reddit wants to go public. They're planning on going public at some point this year, and doing so, they wanted to kind of aggregate everybody to use only their personal apps. So they went out of their way to make it so that third-party apps couldn't participate or basically be basically forced to pay in such an absurd price to run their third-party app that they were just going to have to shut down their apps.
How could they run
the Twitter model?
Yeah, how could they run
that's what Twitter? That's what Twitter did.
What's going on there?
So it was talking about the API of them interacting directly with the subreddits. I will let you explain more about API because I don't know it nearly as in depth as you guys do. But they're basically charging. They're basically charging these third parties like money based on how much API that a single user uses at a time.
Well, I can do a quick API thing. So basically, when you have a large website with a bunch of code and everything that's running it, you don't expose all of it to outside sources, right? So what you do is you create an API, which is a programming interface that allows people who want to write third-party code can run these sanitized functions off of the website without having to know all the code behind it to get responses back, so they can pull and get information and post information, do things like that. So you provide them the ability to interact with your website without, or your application or whatever, without having to give them full access into your code. Right.
Yep. It's like a condom for your back end. And it makes you, and it lets you also understand that most apps on your phone are glorified web browsers. They've just been, just destroyed to take information from you, So, yeah. So, like,
nostalgia.
What?
I wonder how much I can short.
Oh, no. You're not wrong. Because for the simple fact that, like most social media sites, which I understand, like, how social media sites get value to me because they don't own nothing besides, but debt. They've got they've got tech debt. That's what they have. But Reddit is usually built a little more tougher because it's one of the older dogs of the internet. But anyways, so this thing makes different API calls. It's how majority of like little cool web apps or different things. Or if you ever notice how you may, let me give you a bit of advice. If you're ever at work and you're frustrated, you're trying to do some manual task that your boss is giving you to do, probably talk to someone in your engineering or your IT department. That site that you're probably pulling information probably does have an API call that we can probably send some code to and pull all the information you want, put in your little CSV or Excel sheet for you, and just speed up your day and teach you how to do it yourself. We may not do it for you, but we will definitely show you how to get it done and get out of our office. Get out. I have done that before. So, yeah.
But
or they'll write a code just so they quit getting bothered by people. Like, I need this information. It's fine. Here's an API. You do it. You go away now.
So basically, Reddit decided that they were going to basically roughly charge like 4 cents an API call.
Mhm.
So it
That's
ended up
reasonable, right?
sure. And then when it came down to one of the biggest third party person that we end up seeing a lot of information about is Apollo, which did Reddit. And did their own, like, is a third party Reddit thing. They're the biggest ones, and they were expected to pay $24 million a year.
That's not reasonable.
No, it's not.
Well, unless they're making like 50 million.
Oh, no. And like, yeah, no.
Pure profit.
They were not making anywhere near enough money in order to compensate for that level of profit they're forced to pay. And they were given 30 days to change their third party apps to fit this new cost, So they were given June only to change all of their third party apps to work and not have to call as much API, so they don't get charged nearly enough. And then their first bill is in August, and then they have to pay for it.
Well, I'm sure they're planning on to work with their third party applicators so they can.
No, they don't care. They don't care.
Get some caching, maybe some caching.
Yeah.
So
it's more likely they're wanting that situation so that they can then do, like I said, Twitter did the same thing where you make it so expensive to use the API codes that people stop making clients for it, and then you have to use the official clients that Reddit has, which they can then push ads through that app, and they're getting all of the ad revenue for it instead of somebody else getting ad revenue on their app.
Right. Because all the individual apps had their own ads and their own ways of getting money through advertisement, but Reddit wants all that money by themselves. And you end up
also
seeing,
show a huge user base, because social media sites are valued for their valuation period when they go IPO is based on how many users they have in an app.
Right. So when you look at when Apollo came out, the guy working behind it giving all this information about what he's seeing, what he's dealing with. Reddit basically, the mods, like the main mods in the back end, decided they wanted to post and explaining more about their API stuff by basically taking a shot at Apollo, saying that they were pulling 500 API calls per person, and that another one was only doing like 100. So that 24 million doesn't make sense. And if they optimize their app better, they wouldn't be pulling as many API calls, right? And then the guy behind Apollo goes, "Cool, I pulled up your guys' app, and in 1 minute I have 300 API calls. How is my app worse than yours?" And then Reddit tries to. You're
not supposed to look there.
Right.
What are you doing? You're using a hacking tool.
But then they also try to spin it like he was trying to blackmail them by saying that he would just go dark if they didn't pay him out. And he said it as a joke, and he released the actual audio recording where they purposely misinterpreted what he said and admitted that they misinterpreted what he said as blackmail in the call. In order to try to get more sympathy on their side. And then the CEO of Reddit decides, like, "Oh, I'll fix this. I'll do an AMA," which is an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, which is a thing that happens all the time. It's a popular thing. Usually they'll get a lot of celebrities and different people who have interesting things going on in their lives. He did it. He set it up for 4 hours. He answered 8 questions.
In 4 hours?
He answered 8 questions.
In 4 hours?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure they're just long diatribes. He must have went on
No, he answered 8 questions. He didn't want to answer anything else about it. He answered 8 questions.
How many questions did he get, though?
Hundreds upon thousands. Because every post is a question. Yeah. It's an AMA. And it's it's the CEO of Reddit. He chose to only answer 8 questions.
Yeah. Skalja says some people type slow, guys.
Totally.
So I guess that's where I'm confused at, because I never really did look into the ownership of Reddit or whatever. Is it?
Mhm.
I always kind of just assumed it was a community thing. I didn't know it was a company that owned it and ran it.
No. It was sold several different times because Aaron Schwartz sold his. They sold his, and then they all sold to someone else. I forget who, because it's changed hands.
Yeah.
I want to say twice.
The base platform is owned, but like all the individual subreddits are run by moderators that basically are free labor.
Mhm.
People who are willing to do it.
A lot of people who are mods, like right now, Paul's technically a mod on the Twitch channel right now, and I pay producer Paul in hugs.
Producer Paul, it's like it wasn't ask me anything, not a get an answer to anything. Jeez.
Oh god. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's not wrong.
Oh, man.
So basically,
yeah. So yeah, they have ownership has changed, but apparently, yeah, Steve Huffman, one of the co-founders, is still CEO. Okay, so still Steve Huffman, still their CEO. But I thought, because they probably moved to a board. Yeah. The nature of the company has changed, but yeah, no, it's a yeah.
So they and a solid example to show the small sample size that he found from the Some Ordinary Gamers video when he talked about it a couple days ago. Was a poll that was given in the r/PC Master Race subreddit of how they access Reddit, and 22% of the people on that subreddit use a third-party app.
Yeah.
So that lets you know is a swath of the people interacting with Reddit use a third-party app.
Correct. A lot of people that interact with like Reddit use a third party, especially people with like cluster headaches or people deal with migraines, because a lot of the main or mainstream apps they love the color white, bright, gleaming, burn your eyes white. And if you suffer from migraines or cluster headaches, you know that if the site doesn't have a dark mode, you just don't visit it.
Yeah, like Dear Leader, he can't do anything that's dark mode. He can't do dark mode. He hates it.
Why?
That's why he's got medical issues. Okay.
Right. Like if I could post a meme or something and post it into the chat so he can share it out, he goes and gets the actual copy because he doesn't like the dark mode, so he gets it so it's white mode, and then posts it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Straight up, yeah.
It's terrible. That's terrible.
He's the worst. He's the only person I've ever seen use Discord not in dark mode.
Yeah, no.
It's gross.
It makes no sense. It's terrible.
Mac, it's not even his Mac. Okay, all right. But first, like when I log into any like my work Macs, it goes like, "Oh, it's Harry." Boom, dark mode. Like,
yeah, screw that
bright white bullcrap. I'm tired of this thing. The only thing and I was like, "Harry, this is bright because I'm doing radio. I'm doing a show here. I gotta let you see me. If I turn all these lights up, you can't see me. Okay, see the ears."
God damn it, Paul. God damn it, Paul.
We know that your leader is light mode. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna see.
But
hey, if you're listening to this as a podcast, if you're watching live, you can saw that comment from Scotch Plus. But because so everyone went dark to protest this call because a lot of people use these third-party apps to connect to it.
Right,
and they hate these hate being charged, want to be charged these API calls.
Right, they're charging them an absurd amount of money. Like they've openly stated that they were willingly pay for API calls, but they're asking too much and not giving them enough time to make it work.
Yeah, because if you've got time, you can get some caching in. You can like slow things down, do some filtering.
Right, exactly.
or add in more apps and more ad networks and try to get more income coming through that way too. So.
Right, and one of the examples, again using that Somewhere Dairy's Gamers video, was talking about that somebody did research about when Apple was shutting down one of their third party things that connected to one of the Apple things. I don't remember which one it was. They gave them 18 months. They gave them 18 months to transition to allow them to deal with the API and the interactions. And then even after that, Apple gave them another year afterwards, another 12 months to fully integrate the way they needed it to.
Yeah, I want to say it was Apple. They purchased the name of that company name. Oh, I forget it. Anyways, yeah. I watched the video at lunch.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah. So they were giving like barely any time, and they production with this massive crunch. So basically, killing their entire business model. Basically, in a month, you're basically being told all these people like, hey, you've been coding for this thing, you've been coding, this has been your job, you've been making a little bit of scratch on this, and now at the end of the month, it's gonna be gone. And and rightfully so, it takes people off because they're willing to pay for their product. But Reddit doesn't want their money. They want the investor money. They want to be able to sell what Reddit could be to people who don't care about Reddit. They just want to see Reddit as an investment tool.
Right, and I feel like that's how a lot of things are. And I don't think these companies are looking left and right before they do any of this stuff.
No.
FaZe, the gaming company FaZe, they thought they were so set in stone. They went public. Their stock is a penny stock now. It's less than $1 after like 2 years.
Yep.
Reddit is not going to. They're not making anything massive or new with Reddit. Like, the only reason that Facebook works as a public forum thing is because they're not selling Facebook as a tool. They're selling everything else around Facebook and Meta and all the other stupid stuff Meta decides to do.
Correct. They were also like one of the first to invest trust, and they've been there for a while in their space, but they've also have lost lots of value. Right. And they've got a user base that is basically stuck inside of Facebook, and they haven't really wanting to leave yet. But these also people who are like not very technical savvy. Most people who are on Facebook all the time aren't technical savvy, and they don't want to be it. Most of them don't. Just like me, like I'm only on Facebook as a secret podcast group chat because I can't get Dear Leader to get the hell off, and it's the only way he wants to communicate. I asked him to go everywhere else. He will do it for a little bit, and then he'll just give up and just do Facebook. I got family members. I was like, hey, let's set up a Discord. Let's do all this. We set up a matrix. We could do. I'm like, nope. This is all I want to do. Yes. Caleb Paulo. Yes. Gen X. Yes. Gen X. And some elder millennials love Facebook. It is because it's easy mode for them. They got it in college. They have gotten used to it, and it's the tool that they enjoy using. And they are they've got so much of their life, and it's just stuck there. And they're probably not going to go anywhere for a while.
At least MySpace taught you coding.
Yeah.
At least MySpace taught you HTML.
Yeah. But Facebook also understand that it's in this small position. Like, it's really hard for them to do anything because they realize like we can lose a lot of these people still, and they just have this massive user base that they're controlling, and they've, had. But
I mean, I read the other day on Facebook that they are going to start charging access to Facebook now, and you have to write a special post in your Facebook feed in order to avoid getting charged.
Yeah. Of course, naturally. Yeah, I do that post like once a month. Okay.
Yeah, obviously, I have to.
But which there's a couple of different things like with it, right? Like, one, I'm wondering if this is the death knell to the free internet stuff, like built off of venture capitalists that has been exploded in the early since the early aughts, where all these sites have been offering things for free and giving things away for free. Could this be the death knell of all this? Like unlimited storage for free sites? Because no, I'll give you that. Right, Reddit's is not a cheap hosting thing. Everyone was like, "Oh, you could just rehost," or cat was like, kind of not. It's a lot of photos and some high res photos. R slash has a lot of good high res photos on it.
And our photography, obviously.
Yeah, and the bandwidth on it, crazy. It is expensive, and it's an expensive operation to run. But they don't really. They kind of charge for people to use Reddit, but it's. They can't get everyone in it. Just kind of like Twitter,
Right. There's a subscription service to Reddit if you really wanted to, but a lot of people aren't going to do that. But there's also the other issue is that while it is expensive, the lifeblood of Reddit is the people using Reddit.
Correct.
And if people don't use it, you don't have a product anymore.
Correct.
And the value of it dissipates. Yes. Like if you look at Imgur, which was one of the main image hosting sites for Reddit, they decided we're not going to host NSFW images anymore. Any NSFW images that we have are going to get deleted. What? And people did not like that and stopped using Imgur. They started using anything and everything that wasn't that.
I would know what they're using now, but
I do. The difference between Imgur, a site like that, and a site like Reddit itself is that you can go to Reddit and you can share a link for photos from any site.
Exactly.
Right. It's the aggregation that's the important part, right? So it's not like everybody has to be on Imgur in order to see those sites. It's where it has to be. Like for Reddit's value is the number of people who are aggregated to that single location.
Right?
Yep. And a lot of this has successfully been done by a company called YouTube, right? They started when YouTube started, it was just like people were putting stuff up there and there was no charges for anything. And it's like, how are you going to make money? And it was always the question is, how are you going to make money on YouTube? And they figured out how to do it. They have a subscription service. They're making money through ads. They recently blocked all the ad blockers. And they're trying to get around that again. So you can't ad block on YouTube anymore until they fix it. And then they go around it and fix it. So there's that constant battle. But they were able to do it in a way that didn't lose their user base, kept having high quality, and they were able to make money off of it. I think. I don't know if they've ever actually made money yet or not. But
they haven't. They have not made money off of YouTube, no.
Then you've got other companies trying to replicate that, like it sounds like Reddit's trying to go that same path, and Twitter did, and it's just you've got to do it the right way, and I think overcharging like that is probably the dumb way.
Yeah, attacking your more tech savvy fan base.
Yeah, especially on a place like Reddit. Yeah. Or just be lucky they didn't try to do it on 4chan, or their houses would have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, at least all the private information would have been dumped out.
They do it on 4chan. Somebody would literally make a Doom mod of their actual house.
Yeah. And with like all these sites, like really, because some sites like I said, like YouTube does not make money. It is a loss leader for Alphabet. Can YouTube make money? I don't know if it really can. I don't know if video hosting that like YouTube does makes any financial sense. So many people like someone's like, I don't understand why YouTube makes money, but it's like it accepts every Joe Schmo's videos, anyone's for free. We'll let you upload crap. You can create an AI image correction tool that all it does all day, every day, it just makes a 10-minute video and then upload it to YouTube, and it will just take it. Okay. Please don't do that.
I've uploaded crap videos
just
to
you
YouTube.
to do that.
If you go to my channel, there's like 8 or 9 different videos, and they're all crap.
Shut up, Harry. That's my next revenue stream, man. I just downloaded the AI today. See, like without Reddit, I can't get my free YouTube video where I just make a bot read Reddit posts.
Well, all you got to do is like top 5 of whatever. It automatically there's there's
Shock
websites that teach you
Pikachu
how to
face
do
on the
this where
front.
you can make a video on YouTube in like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a top 10 or top 5. You put in some information about it. You do it as a slideshow with some pictures. Boom, up you go, and you can get enough people watching that to actually make ad revenue off of it. To make a little bit of ad revenue.
It's okay. I'm eventually going to do like a thumbnail for the show when I go on vacation. It's like Low Key WAL like possibly quits. Just be like Shock Pikachu face on the front, angry Vincent.
No, you
red
want to
circle
learn
with
from the
arrow.
master.
Red circle, red arrow, round
arrow.
Reinhold. Yeah, round Reinhold.
You got to learn from the master. You got to do Scotty Kilmer.
Oh God, Scotty, so clickbaity. I know, like I just like
It's crazy stuff.
Number 10.
Well, he got me for a while. I a couple times I go in there.
Damn it.
But no, all right, so yeah. So so this protest is going on there on Reddit. So everything things are going dark, and it is crashing everything, and it's making Reddit basically not unusable, just more like some of the popular things, because there's also like because I do know that I've had it like a Reddit on, like I had a subreddit I was going to which was open up until lunch. I could get on here and pull memes from this place that I would get memes from. All right, fine. It's r/fanboy memes, okay?
Yeah.
And it was up until noon, and then I'm guessing some mod talked to some mod, and it went dark.
They're like, all right, let's get this over with. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah,
let them know.
Yeah, you're coming with us. You're coming with us.
They just woke up. They're like, oh crap.
Look like we doing it, because also some moderators and some subreddits probably just like, well, I'll do this, but I gotta see some other people do it, because the first ones, are scared to go because you don't know if anyone else is going with you, and now it's easier to be brave. So, but they said that the protest is only going to be for 2 days.
They said it for 2 days. There's a bunch of other subreddits that were very much like, we're just gonna keep going until they fucking fix this. Like, I'm pretty sure the PC Master Race was definitely all about staying dark until they decide to, nut up or shut up.
Put it back. Yeah, put it back, or we're just going to stay this way. We'll just keep crashing. Yeah.
So, like, they said it for 48 hours to try to send a message.
Right.
But, I mean, it's obvious that some will kowtow, some won't. We'll just have to see where it all ends up on Wednesday, and what comes back from private, and what stays private, and what stays blacked out, and what doesn't, in order to kind of just show, hey, we're not playing around. You guys are being dicks about this. We don't like it. And the only way we can show it to you is the fact that you guys have nothing if we don't participate.
Right. Yeah. Which, like Reynolds, are like, they could get some of this money, like could a reasonable amount of money from these people. These people aren't unreasonable people. I think the one person, like, I think when something like this happens to YouTube, I think you'll find a lot of people who will find out, especially some of these YouTubers, right? Some of these YouTubers who get into podcasting and think it's easy and all this other different thing. I despise a lot of them because they have easy distribution when it comes to YouTube. They have no idea what it is. Like, well, how hard is to put a podcast out? Oh, you're gonna learn today. Or how much their storage costs. Most of them, unless you're Linus Tech Tips or like some of the older YouTubers understand, because they keep backup copies. So many YouTubers, their backups of all their videos are on YouTube. I don't keep because video storage is expensive. It's huge. It's a huge file. I don't keep a backup of these shows. I keep an audio backup. That's it. I delete the video. I don't care. If you lose the videos that get done on YouTube, and if someone really want to watch those, or nope, I'll give you audio, and I'll just put some like Reinhold, like gaming clips on it. So that's what you'll get. All right.
Yeah, which is fair.
So you see a lot. Yeah. So I think if that type of model comes to YouTube, I think a lot of people you'll see some 240p episodes of some people or shorter segments or people only putting up the best hits.
Right. The bigger issue really it comes down to is that it YouTube comparing YouTube to this is kind of a little different because I don't know how massively used third party YouTube apps are.
Oh, they exist.
I know they exist, but I don't know how prevalent they're used in
See,
comparison
it's
to like
nowhere
Reddit.
near. Yes, yeah, it's nowhere near 22%. It would be
Yeah.
a very small
Yeah,
number, and
sure.
it's usually because there were tablets who you couldn't do YouTube on it. You'd have to have a special. And then same with there was no YouTube app for the Roku. There was no YouTube app for certain things like so. Once those apps officially came out,
Mhm.
the copycat apps. So
Right.
so Twitch did this thing where they don't allow apps on the Roku devices because it's Amazon. So now they want to have just Amazon app, streaming service can do it. So all the others can't. So
Mhm.
you've got some third party people trying to squeeze it out and make it work. So you get an app every 6 months you have to get a new one because they block that one or figure out a way to block it. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when
Which
you look at
sucks.
something like Reddit, where while there's a bunch of people that do it, there's also these third party apps. When they are designed, they're designed as user friendly and comparative to what the actual Reddit app is. The Reddit app is bad. It's a bad app. It's not very well optimized. It doesn't flow very well. It's immediate dark. It's immediate light mode, which is painful. And
First,
even the people who use the desktop use the desktop like browser based Reddit, they use old Reddit because the old Reddit is better designed than the new Reddit.
all right. So personally, I'm one of those monsters who use Reddit on the mobile app, old version. I'm one of those monsters
Right.
because
The
the
old Reddit is so much better.
right and the app is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also I like to practice like application minimalism. So if I can get to it in my web browser, well, going in my web browser.
Right. And I use a third party Reddit app when I use it. Okay, fine. Oh, who cares? Because it's better optimized and it isn't terrible. A lot of the the way that's structured in the app and
Mhm.
the new version of Reddit is not conducive to what it used to be at all. It definitely feels much more like it's made for the next generation of people. There's all
Mm.
the images are big and massive and they take up most of the screen. So it allows a lot more infinite scrolling. So you're able to just keep being distracted by the next thing.
I want pages.
Exactly.
I don't want infinite scroll. I want pages. But that's me. That's
Yeah,
me.
it's me too. And that's why I also use the old Reddit and all those kind of things because it allows me to go, this is where this is, and I can know where I am, and I don't have to worry about being bombarded with this thing covering everything that I want to see. When it's like, oh, well, there's this headline of something interesting that I want to actually look into, and I'm gonna click there and read this thing on the actual website where they pulled it from.
Exactly. I
you
don't
don't
want to
need
be
it.
like I don't want to be scrolling and have this massive photo thing up and my wife walks in and like, what do you do? And I'm like, cottage core.
You don't need help going down the rabbit hole. You're willing to go down it yourself, so you don't need to be
Exactly.
led kicking and screaming down one when you're not ready for it.
That's true.
You say it's cottage core. She goes, why is there so much rope then? You're just like, shut up, moving on.
Talk about
Yeah, hopefully this blackout does what they want it to do. It's very we can only hope and also see where they end up after a couple days. But if it, as some people have openly said, like if it goes on for too long, they're just not going to go back because it's obviously they're not listening. They don't care, so they'll
Correct.
find somewhere else to get their information.
And they need to understand too that they can go away very quickly. Reddit can, because all they have to do is go back and look at this website that used to be around called Dig.
Oh no, Brian, hold. Don't bring that. Don't dig that back up.
I'm just
I see
saying.
what you did there.
No. All right, right.
They
I was-
Kevin sold that site and it went to what, National Geographic. I forget who bought it. Some
Dig
like
still
Discovery
around?
Channel. Discovery Channel bought it, and it tanked. Yeah, it's still there.
Still around.
It's still there. Yeah.
Can I still log in?
Do I still have a login?
But they used to dig stuff, you know, so it was like an upvote and it had all that stuff and it was very popular. And there was actually a show called Dig Nation where Kevin Rose and the other guy, I can't remember his name, they used to do a show and they would talk about the top 5 dig stories that week. And it was very funny. They would do it drunk. It was a lot of fun. It was early days of early video podcasting. You know, this is back in the Tiki Bar TV days. You know, this is old school.
Yeah.
Goes
to the line like some Redditors went and dug it up, you know, because you would go and dig videos. Anyway, sorry.
And as soon as they sold it, they tried to monetize and everything just went disappeared.
Right. It's
Same
people
thing can happen.
People don't look into the ramifications of what they decide to do. Right. I've talked about it because it's hilarious to watch what happens. But like that in League of Legends, the LCS player walkout thing, that they decided they came to an agreement. That means they are going to play. But just think about what happens to all your sponsorships when they go, oh, your players are willing to just not play because they're unhappy. Cool. I'm not going to give you guys money anymore. Because that means that my money just goes down the drain. If you guys are willing to just ignore all your obligations and leave us in the wind to dry. Yeah, no, we're not going to sponsor your teams at all ever again. It's
Madonna's.
like
it's risk, but hey, also like
it's not like the Dallas Cowboys decide they're just not going to play that week, right? I mean, it's
right.
That's a union concerted effort type thing when the NFL and they get together, so it's not like quite the same thing, but they have a lot more pull than exactly. A gaming team's going to have. So.
Right, but it wasn't even the team; it was the players that aren't even unionized. They had basically they had one guy who had demands. They didn't even tell the players what the demands were until after they agreed to walk out. And even the demands that he asked for didn't make any sense. To the point where one of the players was on stream and openly said that he disagreed with 4 of the 5 demands this guy had. But they don't think of the ramifications of cool. You guys have now made it so that this whole league that was the least profitable of the 4 major leagues have less reason for you to put money into it because you guys have shown that you don't care.
Right.
So the big organizations are going to go like, cool, I'm not going to give you guys money anymore.
Yeah. And you're willing to strike for light and transient causes.
Right. And it's the ramifications of what are you doing?
Yeah. With
this whole Reddit thing of your CEO only answers 8 questions on an AMA that he openly announced he wanted to do, and didn't really answer any of the important questions. You're willing to lie and manipulate actual recorded audio to make yourself look better in the public eye, even though the person you tried to slander has the audio evidence that you guys are making this up. You are using information without giving a source of where your ideas are coming from, i.e., well, the Apollo app uses so many more API calls, but our own app makes just as much, if not more, API calls than the Apollo app does, but they're not going to show that part because why would they do that? Because it would lower their own argument. And then now all these people are going to go dark. All these subreddits have gone dark because they're protesting how bad you guys are at running your organization. And then if you guys decides to go public, who's going to buy? The people that you're providing a service to don't like you anymore. Who is going to put the money in for something that's dead on arrival?
Correct. Yeah. I can understand. Like clearly, like, someone there wants to do the. They want to cash out. They've worked very hard, and they want to take their stock options that they've probably bought up for years. Finally, take this thing public and sell it and and just drive off into the sunset. Well, I'm sorry. You bought the Reddit funding money. I think the worst thing you can do is to go to like. I don't think Reddit will be as valued as much as what I think so many business investors have been burned by, social media companies, stuff like that, going public and not be able to like keep be able to hold on to its valuation. I think that bubble has popped, burst, and has gone. I think BuzzFeed was the signaling of like these things aren't all what they seem because they don't really produce that big of a product unless they are a huge ad machine like Facebook is.
Right.
What why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
Because
Like
probably
around 1999,
Good
2000, 2001.
because you probably have.
You probably have.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. It's
What was it,
like,
Pets.com?
people don't learn. The people don't learn.
Yeah, how do these places, how do these websites make money? And Netscape is IPOing it. How much did Netscape IPO and made $1 billion for people, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, how are they making money? You're giving away a product for free. How are you making money? That sort of thing. It's like the questions weren't being asked. People were just jumping on and saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm going to ride this gravy train and make some money."
Right.
And that's good for the first people who do it. Then they get out the door, and then everybody catches on, and that's when
Right.
everything starts to crash.
It's crazy to look at watching as this venture capital for the tech industry has been drying up for years now. It's getting to
Mhm.
the lowest point possible.
Good.
And while I haven't seen it fully in the tech part of it, I've only seen it through the eyes of esports and watching as the esports organizations slowly die or they sell off to Saudi Arabia because
Mhm.
because that's the only way they will get money.
Mhm.
Like that at this point the venture capital is dried up, and the only way that people are getting money off of selling their organizations is by selling to Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
So that's why the PGA is merging with the Saudi
PGA.
Arabian
Mhm.
one,
Mhm.
and then
Yep. And
Sa-
Disney's probably going to sell Lucasfilm to Saudi Arabia too.
oh god,
All right, that's going to go. All right, it's gone.
you can only hope. You can only hope.
That's going to be terrible. It's going to be
It could be
worse.
terrible. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it would either be worse or to be better because they start bringing back people that they have no reason to bring back. It's like, yeah, this is Harrison Ford's 18th movie since Saudi Arabia bought this.
Oh man.
But but no, like you have PGA, yeah, like all of the CS:GO tournament organizers are bought by Saudi Arabia. The WWE is partly funded by Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
Just watching all these things, they're just, well, we need money, and the only people offering us money are the Saudis and their blood money. So
Yep. Yeah. Because yeah, and but when you do something like that, when you go public, you are or you just live, or your company lives off investments or people just funding it in fundraisers. This is what you have to do. You have to keep chasing that. So if your product that your company is making isn't sustaining itself, you can't go bail yourself out. Like if you're let's say if you're San Francisco's mass transit system, and then you only get paid 10% of ridership actually pays for the funding of it, and everything else comes from everywhere else. You can't really like just steal from cars to pay for your bus.
yeah, or if some people heard of this thing, these venture capitalists heard of this thing called NFTs, and they heavily invested into a market of NFTs and cryptocurrency, and turns out they got ripped off and didn't make any money off of it, instead lost millions of dollars. It's weird that they don't want to invest money into tech businesses anymore.
Oh man, I think the real thing that's going to show all these tech businesses that have nothing's going to bust is the moment when SpaceX decides to go public like an idiot.
Oh god, yeah.
Hopefully it won't. So but it probably is, and it's going to go like one of the rockets. Anyways,
I do like what producer Paul says. Like, don't you see? We need a new tech bubble so we can stave off the new housing bubble.
No. Yes, we had competing the bubbles. The bubbles help the bubbles. All bubbles race all boats.
Yeah, all I can think of is the SpongeBob meme. Is like, what could be worse than one paint bubble? I know, 2 paint bubbles.
God, it's a good meme. Make that. We need to make that. But no, yeah. So I, for one, I encourage these subredditors to, like, one, try to get them to back down from this. They probably won't. The people who are on the board and control Reddit, that controls the keys of the kingdom of Reddit, they don't want to back down. They probably don't want to back down because they have money signs in their heads. But I don't know. That can't predict. Like with Twitch, I expect Twitch to back. Twitch, I feel only back down for a little bit. They're gonna go right. They're gonna wrench that right back up. They realized that they blanketed too many people, so they're gonna do it slower now. They're gonna do a slower rollout. But yeah, they're not gonna. Yeah. No, if you think Twitch is gonna roll that back with these ads things, yeah, you're kidding yourself. Twitch don't care about you.
Forget Scalgia. Hey, Diamond Hands, glad to see you again. Hold on to that fry basket for me real quick.
No. Man,
I hate him so much sometimes.
Yeah, but no. It's a wacky world. It's going to be a different space. I think the internet is going to start healing itself. I think a lot of people are going to learn of how the internet works. I'm going to think that everyone's going to understand when I say Jeff Bezos' world domination tour, when they realize that everything runs on AWS and you should have been investing in Amazon stock. No matter what anyone else is doing, is like, if you say you do cloud, like, okay, are you on Google or Microsoft or AWS? Now, there's only a few that may do DigitalOcean, or the unlucky fools are still in Rackspace. I do still feel that more companies are going to start leaving the cloud, hopefully, here in a few bits. I think VMware is, if they're not being too hacked too much, I think they're going to help lead the cause of getting people out of the cloud, especially because a lot of these office buildings are now empty because all these workers are being remoted. So now your data center can be huge, massive. Tear down that wall and take over the entire first floor.
Harry, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's not the future. The future is AI, obviously. But don't you know that it's all about AI, sir?
Not gonna happen.
You had to use ChatGPT to get you disbarred again.
The problem is those buildings are empty.
Yeah,
but nobody wants to pay the extra money. You pay the extra money to it's cheaper to have it housed in the cloud than it is to maintain it and manage yourself locally. And you don't have the cost of going out and finding a company to buy this hardware from and dealing with those and getting the contracts and having to do updates and I messed with some people recently and they were dealing with Dell. Having to buy Dell hardware, and it's like the mess and the pain that they go through, and they're just like, it's so much easier if I could just pay Microsoft or pay Amazon some money and let them worry about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're ever going back, because I remember we had a big data center years and years ago, a manufacturing company. It was tornado proof, and we had this huge back mainframe in the back in the computer area, and by the time we ended up selling it to a hosting company, we were using maybe 1/16 of the room. It was just empty. We didn't need it anymore because we put everything on client server stuff. We didn't need a mainframe anymore.
Cheaper to have it in the cloud until someone decides your cloud is problematic. I see what you're saying, Reinhold, but I also feel like the trend is, I some things aren't worth putting in the cloud. I think without enough competition in the cloud and more people willing to move around to different cloud providers, I think AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, GCP, Google Cloud Platform will have its massive clutches and its uncouth cloud triad. It's it's bad for computing. I think they're I think more companies to move out and try other cloud computers. And I think if it doesn't happen, AWS, GCP, and Azure will keep raising their prices, and people will eventually move back to their own data centers. I'm a huge component of people, like, if you're not massively expanding, you can actually chart your growth, and you've got a building and it's doing nothing, and there's space for it. F you're doing it in the cloud for. But if you don't have a building, you don't have people there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, cloud is cheaper.
So how does physical storage affect my $3,600 Google headset?
What?
How does this
The
affect
VR headset.
my $3,600 VR headset? I still need
that's
the
Apple,
cloud
not
though,
Google.
right? I still need
Yeah,
the cloud for my Apple headset, right?
That headset is cheap comparatively for the thing that it competes with. Yeah. I don't want Brian, we're not trying to get too AWS's egress fees and MSVC licensing is what's going to drive people back to the cloud. And people like, oh man, I got into a fight with one of my vendors because like talking about if I don't sign this massive like cloud contract, they're gonna drop up my price. And I presented it to another. I was pissed off about it, and another vendor saw that I was mad. What the hell's going on? I'm like, it's this, and like, we could fix that. We'll fix that cheap. Matter of fact, we'll fix that for free. You just sign a contract with us. Look, you sign a contract with us. It pays for itself in 6 months. 3 months from now, you have extra bells and whistles to buy everything else. And I just like, I was like, I don't know. We'll throw in your WAF fees for 6 months at HA for free. Deal. Let's sign this goddamn contract. But no. All right. Before we get into anything else, this episode's getting
This week in the cloud.
This week in the cloud. Yeah, we'll bring Brad out. We'll have this cloud fight.
Cool. That's the episode I can go take a nap on, right?
No. You're in this.
Why am I in on this cloud shit? I don't care.
You're a VMware expert, okay?
Am I?
Yes.
Hard to believe.
All right. Anything you guys want to wrap up, pitch, or final words?
Yeah, just people should understand why this is annoying, and that Reddit is going to kill itself if they decide to go public, and it's interesting to watch it happen in real time. Find a community, stick around in a community, find a way to, if there's a community of people you enjoy interacting with on Reddit, Discord's right there, other websites are right there. Find a way to interact with them outside of just one location.
Yeah, let's see what happens to Discord in the next couple of years. I did, by the way, get notified that I could change my username, so I was able to do that since I was one of the one of the early guys for Discord, so I was able to get in there and make sure I got the one I wanted.
I thought about it, like I got that too, and I thought about trolling you. I was like, I should do it for right.
I had 0001, so because I would have the Nitro.
Yeah, I would have to like early change my names. Yeah, but I wouldn't do that to you. I thought about it. I did thought about it when they asked me straight up. But I was like,
I already did it. I think I got the notification and immediately did because I've been looking for the past couple of weeks for it. So I check it every day. And then it was there, and I was like, cool. Boom.
He was like, just in case. Yeah. I changed the name on my troll Discord account, so that was good. I had a really problematic name. Now I'm not so now the name's not so problematic, which is great.
Yet.
I know, right? Yeah, give it 2 years. Anyways, so thanks for coming in. Thanks for the episode. You could you've got this far in the episode. You're a true fan. You could have been listening to anything else in the world, but you decided to listen to this, and I thank you. Keep in mind, this is a podcast recorded live Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/we are, as the letter R, libertarians, and also on youtube.com/we are libertarians. Come hang out with us live. We read your comments on the air. These aren't super chats. They're not people paying us money. We are simply just reading your comments and hanging out with people. Come hang out with us. We enjoy that you listen to download the podcast and listen to us on the road, but we really want you to come hang out with us live and hang out with us on Monday nights. So, please come hang out. So, anyways, this has been another low key episode talking about, fun things on the internet. Hope you learned something. All right. Bye, everybody. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.